Good morning, friends and family, and everyone that is finding my channel today. My name is Erica. I am with Aurora Heart Healing, and I am an energy healer. And what is an energy healer? I help people connect their mind, their body, and their souls. Basically, everything that we think psychologically has an energetic signature. And in that energetic signature, we can actually screw up our lives or have the best life that we possibly could live by understanding how energetically things are affecting us. Today, I want to share a little bit of a reading, and then we're going to be moving through some emotions as well. And this is a collective reading. Whoever is supposed to be listening to this is going to hear this today. Is there anything else that we need to know? Is there any other cards? Okay. You guys are a very active, chattery one. Active, chattery collective. Okay. The first card is infinite abundance. You're fully supported as you devote yourself to your divine life purpose. What I'm really getting from this is when we understand who we are, which means how we react to things emotionally, how we think about things in a mental capacity, and what we do physically, then we're able to attract more abundance into our lives. This woman, she's got that cornucopia with all the fruit overflowing, and she looks very confident and peaceful with herself. And in all reality, how many of us understand what our woundings are and where they come from? A lot of people that I have met in my life, and myself included, reacted to life as if it was happening to us and not happening for us. And a lot of us did not have the tools to build emotionally within ourselves. I know that when I was a kid, I was not taught how to feel my feelings, how to manage them, how to understand them, how to work through them. This morning, I was listening to a gentleman named Tim Fletcher, I think, on YouTube. I will put his video in the description. But he was talking about how when we as human beings have been emotionally neglected or emotionally, mentally, physically abused, we tend to harden our hearts to everything around us. And hardening our hearts actually means that we are closing down who we are energetically. When we feel certain things, we'll just say, "Oh, I'm not gonna deal with that right now," which can block off our infinite abundance. So, as we continue to learn about ourselves, grow within ourselves, understand ourselves just a little bit more, we begin to grow more into our abundance, whether it be financial, whether it be material, whether it be spiritual connections, whatever it is, we grow into that more because we're safer too. The next card is study. Reading, research, and education can help you gain confidence and clarity about your career. And they may just be saying career in this, but I think everything. I think that when we gain clarity about who we are individually as a person, then we actually gain confidence in the world in general around us. When I was very emotionally numb, very detached emotionally, I tended to hurt others and hurt myself in the process as well. And with that being said, how have I learned how to move past those very self-sabotaging limiting beliefs, as well as currently right now, as I'm going through a divorce, what am I learning for myself to take accountability? And what am I studying to understand that I'm not going to repeat that same pattern ever again? So, reading, research, education will help you gain confidence in your life in general. And it's such a beautiful thing to do that. The last one is the artist, engaging in sorry, artistic activities is beneficial to your career and every other area of your life. Artistically, this right here, this video forum, my posting these videos, to me is an artistic art form. I get to show up authentically. I can stumble on my words, and I'm okay with that. You might be bothered by my little hiccups, but that's okay because I'm not. I am showing up as my most authentic self. I just came and I sat down and I knew I was supposed to do a tarot reading, but I don't really know. I don't have a script, to be honest. The only thing that I found was that I knew that we have to work on some emotions today and work through those emotions. And that's about it. This is an artistic expression of who I am and how I want to help guide others through experiences and their own emotions. So, how does art show up for you? What is it that artistic, that creativity, how is that going to be beneficial for you in your life? And what is it? How many of you know what that is? So take some time. Know that as you get to know who you are and you devote yourself to yourself, then you will gain infinite abundance. It'll be emotional, physical, or spiritual. Know that if you study yourself and what you are going through in general, or whatever it is that you want to do with your life, you will gain confidence and clarity that will effectively help you throughout your whole entire life. Being an artist doesn't just mean drawing. It doesn't mean just painting. It means expression. My favorite type of expression is sound as well. So I do sound baths. That is an expression of who I am. And it's fun and exciting and it's beneficial because as I continue to do that, I feel more fulfilled within myself and my purpose. And through all of these different things, I've gained purpose. So, how can you gain purpose through learning about who you are, recognizing what you feel about the world around you? Because as you recognize what you feel, you begin to move forward and progress into confidence and clarity about what it is that you want to do in your life. Because if you feel that the world is hopeless, then the world will look hopeless. If you feel like no one loves you or that no one returns that love to you, then you will constantly find people that do not love you. Or you put in all the effort. One of the things that I've had my self-realizations is that emotionally unavailable people, I've been attracted to them because I was so emotionally unavailable that I know what it's like to live in both spectrums. And I want to teach others that are emotionally unavailable how to become emotionally available. And that's actually been a detriment to me in a lot of different aspects in my life because not everyone wants to change, and not everyone is on the same journey and path. And sometimes people don't really care to do the work. And some people really want to do the work. So, studying myself and studying yourself, you can start to see certain patterns in your life and how you feel that create these things that are surrounding you in your life. And artistic. Just really know that any one of your individual expressions are a beautiful, amazing, unique gift to the world around you. And the more that you do it, the more that you're blessing everyone. Last night, me and my kids after dinner, I just had a sudden urge to dance and I put on the music and I just started dancing with all the kids and they looked at me like I was crazy and they were just like, "Oh my God, mom, you're so weird." And I was like, "No, this is good. And if you don't want to dance, then that's okay, but I want to dance." So I like was twirling all of them around and moving around and just really feeling into myself. And then they started getting into it themselves. And my youngest daughter, she loves it when I twirl her and dip her and all the fun stuff. And as I was doing that, I just felt so at peace through all of the chaos and conflict. So the next thing that we're going to move into, and I'm going to get my emotions definitions list because that is always super helpful to understand how each energy, each emotion shows up in our own life. The energy itself, the wound of over acceptance. As I have learned more and more, I've been getting a lot of downloads about this information that I'm supposed to be sharing with everyone out here. The wound of over acceptance is over accepting behavior that can be detrimental to ourselves or other people because of our childhood wounds. And what that looks like is it's okay. They just don't know. They don't understand. Maybe if I love them a little bit more, then they'll see what I mean. Maybe if I open up a little bit more, or maybe if I pull back a little bit more, I hope that they'll get it. And we start to over accept certain behaviors that can be detrimental to ourselves. And this I see across the board in so many different ways, in so many different lives. And I hope that shedding light on this, it's not about just cutting everyone off in your life. It's not about just saying no one is worthy of your time or your energy. It is understanding that when you hold boundaries, and people are able to accept and respect your boundaries, then those are the best people for you because they may enact or trigger that wound of over acceptance within you. But if you are able to express yourself and say, "This is how I feel, this is what your behavior made me feel like. And I want to bring this to you because it hurts." And they're able to come to you without defenses and say, "I didn't know that that was what was going on. Let's talk about it." Then you're able to really heal that wound on a deeper level because you're healing it, first of all, with another person that is your witness to the progress that you are making within a relationship, but you're also healing it within yourself because you gained that confidence, that self-expression to say, "This is what's going on and this is how I feel." So the wound of overacceptance is the one that we're going to be working with today. The first emotion is blame. To hold responsible, find fault with, censure. It is usually used in the context of putting responsibility on someone or something else so that the one doing the blaming does not have to take responsibility. According to Dr. Daniel Amen, blaming is one of the most poisonous of the automatic negative thoughts. Blame is very harmful. When you blame something or someone else for the problems in your life, you become a passive victim of your circumstances, and you make it very difficult to do anything to change your situation. You become powerless to change anything. The blame game hurts your personal sense of power. You have to take responsibility for your problems before you can hope to change them. So I always use myself as an example in my life because first of all, it's vulnerable. And without vulnerability, we cannot be open and expressive to our own emotions. And I'm teaching all of you to be vulnerable. Maybe one day, some people might try to use these vulnerabilities against me. But if that day does come, I'm confident within myself to know who I am and that I showed up authentically to help each of you build and grow your own emotional awareness. So, with that being said, blaming. I have been someone that a lot of blame has been put upon me for different things in other people's lives. I believe in radical accountability, and that to some can feel very, how could I say, cornering. Because I say, well, how did you take part in this? What did you do to take part in this? And even with me going through different life scenarios with different exes, relationships, careers, all the different things, I have asked myself, how did I contribute to this? And that takes a lot of responsibility. A lot of the times that I've noticed, so in my family, I am what's called the scapegoat. If anyone wants to go into that, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about the scapegoat. But basically, the scapegoat, from my understanding, is someone that when things are hard, it's easy to blame them. And it's easy to shift all of that blame onto someone else, which is disempowering for the people that are blaming, but also it is very hurtful to the person that is being blamed. With my family dynamic, uh, I was a caretaker for a long time. And now that we've grown into adults, a lot of the people that I used to caretake, I put my boundaries up and I said, no, I'm not taking responsibility over your actions anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm respecting myself. I'm respecting my boundaries. And now that I'm doing that, it's an issue because those people are used to blaming me for the issues that they have. And once you take back that power and you say, you are no longer going to blame me, I'm putting my boundaries up. This is your responsibility and this is not my responsibility. Those people have to take a look in the mirror or they will shift the blame to someone else. And when they shift the blame to someone else, then you are kind of free a little bit. To be honest, you are free because you don't have someone blaming you for everything, but you also watch the dynamics play out within other relationships with other people if they're still continuously in your life, because now they can't blame you, but they will find someone else or some other life circumstance to blame for their own misfortunes or for whatever it is that they're going through. So, blame in this aspect, I'm really getting people taking blame on and thinking something's wrong with me. I did something wrong, and not really taking that blame and putting it on to the right person. Like, no, this is not mine. I'm setting my boundary. This is what I am showing up as. How are you going to show up? The next emotion is empty. Empty is feeling exhausted, drained, hollow, a great lack, a void, or absence. And this morning, it's interesting because I was reading or I was listening to podcasts about narcissistic relationships, about codependency, about a lot of complex trauma because I love to learn and I want to learn about everything. So, as I was listening to that, it talked about feeling empty and people overextending themselves and doing too much for others so that they can feel fulfilled within themselves. And honestly, it goes back to that infinite abundance card. You're fully supported as you devote yourself to your divine life purpose. And it was interesting because it said how some people overly give constantly. I was one of those super hardcore. I gave everybody anything whenever they needed it, and I was completely empty and depleted inside. And as I've grown, especially over the last 2 years, building a business and running a family, and at one point being a wife, I had to set boundaries with what it was that I could do and say no to certain situations and say yes to things that I knew would fill me up. And that emptiness, that void can be experienced by so many different things. But if you are an overgiver, maybe you over accept things, then that can leave you feeling very empty, very frustrated, exhausted, drained, hollow. And as you gain more confidence in yourself and you learn about what it is that you feel drained or empty from, then you can start to build your expressions of who you are in a different way. You can say, okay, well, I absolutely love to volunteer. And I do personally. I love volunteering. It fills me up in a different way because I just know that I'm fulfilling a purpose of helping others on this planet. So as I am volunteering for different organizations, I feel fulfilled. But what if I volunteered more than I relaxed? What if I volunteered for so many different organizations that it left me feeling so drained that I didn't have time to focus on my children or my family? That is emptiness because you're exhausted and you're trying to fulfill a purpose within yourself of something, but you also have overextended yourself and exhausted yourself to a point where you're just it's not fulfilling anymore. So, emptiness is something that really can cause a lot of issues in your life if you aren't setting those proper boundaries. And boundaries are definitely something that a lot of people are like, well, I don't understand what a boundary is. I, with this new place that I am volunteering at, I set a boundary of I will work 2 hours a week, 1 day a week, and that is it. And if they were to need me to call me or anything like that, I'd have to say, no, I'm sorry, but this is my boundary. This is what energetically I can give, and I cannot give past that. And saying no to someone can feel a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but as you practice saying no, it gets easier and easier. And at one point, it's kind of like, oh, this is the way it is. With my children, I tell them no. They can ask me a second time, I say no. And if they ask me a third time, I say, what does no mean? And they'll say no means no. And I say, okay, next time you push it, your phone is taken away. And with that, there's a message of there was a video that I watched about children, and it was a very interesting perspective on boundaries. So there was two different kids, and one of them, the parent, so I'll just play it out. Mom, can I please have an ice cream? No. Mom, can I please have an ice cream? No. Mom, please, I really want an ice cream. I said no, and no means no. Next child, Mom, can I please have an ice cream? No. Mom, please, just this one time, can I have an ice cream? Fine, whatever. And the child gets the ice cream. We fast forward to a couple of teenagers sitting in a car with a guy. One of them, come on, baby. Can we just do it? Just this once. I'm ready for you. No, I'm not ready. Baby, please, can we just please do this? I really want you. No, I said no. Please, come on. If you don't want to, then I don't know if this is going to work out. I said no, and no means no. Next child in the next car with the parent that was a little bit more flexible with their boundaries. Baby, please, can we have it? Come on, let's just do it. No, please, baby, please. I don't know if I can do this without having this intimate relationship with you. That I just don't know. Okay, fine, whatever. Boundaries are imperative because one of the children are being pressured into being something that they're not possibly comfortable with, but they don't know how to set boundaries because they didn't get set boundaries for themselves when they were young. And the other child is confident in their own boundaries in what makes them feel comfortable and what does not. Who knows? Maybe they aren't ready, or maybe they're thinking, I want this in this specific way, and this person is not giving it to me like that. So I will not accept it until it is given to me in the way that I want. Totally not saying that teen sex is good because it's not. But well, I'll just leave that subject out, okay? But either way it goes, we can see the distinction between healthy, strong boundaries and flexible, lenient boundaries, because the flexible, lenient boundaries can be easily pressured, broken, and there's no real definition to them. It's not, I want this, so I'm going to do what I need. It's, well, I guess it's okay. I might not be really comfortable with it, but I guess, sure. So, keeping healthy boundaries with this empty feeling, because you can feel very empty if you've done something that you did not want to do, but you did it anyway. Last one that we're going to be working on is fluster. A state of disorder or confusion, feeling muddled, behaving in an agitated, confused, or excited manner, loss of composure. Fluster can happen in so many different ways. Being a single mom, I can get very flustered from all of the different people coming at me with all of their different needs because I'm the only one. And when this happens, some of the easiest ways, instead of just kind of jumping out of my skin and being like, oh my gosh, there's too much and I can't do it all, I say, okay, pause. And at this point, I do tell people, pause. What do you need? Okay, that you can be helped by your sister. You guys can help each other with that. Go ahead, figure it out. This one, oh, you need some signatures. Okay, sign. Okay, calm. Figure it out. With children and family dynamics and life, it can be very difficult to avoid fluster, but we can also set boundaries to help us create those moments of clarity through all of the chaos, all of that fluster, that feeling of too much, too much, too much, even anxiety. It can cause a lot of anxiety within us. So when you start to feel flustered, taking a moment and say, okay, I want to act out of love because I know that that causes more connection within my family. How, studying myself, how do I show up when I am being bombarded by different energies and different people? What little things can I do to create some sense of stability within a chaotic world? And finding that expression for yourself on how it is going to help you manage everything that goes around in life. Maybe you can delegate. Maybe you can pause. Maybe you can find different avenues of where people can help each other. Or if it's something like, I don't know how to read this word, I need you to try to sound it out. And when you have felt that you cannot do it by yourself, then you can ask me for help, okay? And that takes some of the pressure off myself. And it also gives them the sense that they need to figure out their own issues and their own problems. And that goes for the world in general. I know that a lot of people are used to being caretakers. A lot of you that are watching these videos are because you are overextended, because you are the caretaker, you are the light worker, you are the person that helps embody divinity in this planet, on this earth. And by taking care of yourself, you are able to show up so much more authentically and you are able to access your infinite abundance. I hope that this helps. I hope that everything that I told you about today has helped shed some light on boundaries, on the wound of overacceptance, feeling blame, empty, and flustered. And I will leave all of this information in the description below. If you are ready to do a one-to-one session with me and you are saying, in this point in my life, I want to understand what my default emotions are and energetically release them so that that pattern isn't completely ingrained in my life and I constantly repeat the same patterns, then I will leave your a Zoom description or a Zoom link below. And I hope that you all take advantage of this because it really does help to understand where you come from emotionally, especially if you had neglect in that emotional sense as a child. And so many people don't even know that they were emotionally neglected because it was just normal. And today I'm here to tell you, I challenge you to see if the way that you emotionally felt as a child, if you continuously have relationships that end, if you continuously have turbulence and you feel like you're hopeless and that there's nothing out there in the world for you, I'm here to tell you that there is. And I'm here to tell you that you can change it. We just can't blame anyone else. We have to fully take responsibility over on ourselves and say, what am I doing? And how can I change my behavior? Or how can I recognize my emotions, my wounding to have a better life for myself? You can do it. I have faith in you. I know because I did. And it was not easy. It took a lot of broken mirrors and a lot of challenges and a lot of hurt, but also so much beautiful hope and infinite abundance. Authentically knowing who you are is one of the absolute most rewarding things ever. And even if other people fall out of your vibration because of that, thank you for clearing the pathway for people that do appreciate and value it. I appreciate that. Thank you. And you will find infinite abundance with who you are, navigating all of your emotions. Have a wonderful day.